Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Unleash Your Potential podcast on the move. I'm here with a very special guest of mine. I'm so excited. We got Deborah Crain in the house. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody on Instagram.
Yeah. What's up, Instagram? Listen, Deborah Crain, we call her the best in the Southwest. You know, she is the absolute, in my opinion, right? The best business attorney that has ever stepped foot in the courtroom. And she scares the hell out of me, and she's like my friend, and I love it. But we've got some great stuff to go through. I want everyone that's plugging in to get to know who Deborah Crain is, because she is somebody you want in your corner. She is somebody that you want to be able to call and say, "Hey, I need help," or "Hey, I got this going on." And she fights for the people she cares about, and so I hope that you guys give her a shout, because she really is just amazing. Deborah, I love to just kind of start off by just people getting to know you, on a personal level a bit. Are you from Texas originally?
No, I'm born and raised in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can take the girl out of Louisiana, but you can't take the LSU Tiger out of the girl.
That's right. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. We lost to the Aggies this weekend. It was a little frustrated.
It's
That's okay. They were kind of yakking at me.
When you give a team 16 points, it would be sad if they didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, they put in their running quarterback in the second half. Smart strategy. So, and hometown advantage, Kyle Field. What can you say? So,
yeah, I'm with you. So how long have you been in Houston then?
We've lived here since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So I call that move a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
So my father passed away. We had a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
My husband said, let's potentially move to Texas.
Yeah.
The economy's a little bit better there.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And it was really the best thing I could have ever done.
Really?
Established my practice here,
Mm-hmm.
really on a wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
And I joined a business and networking group called BNI.
Yeah.
And it was the best decision I could have made for my business.
That's awesome. So just catapulted your business.
It really did. What distinguishes BNI from other networking platforms is there's structure, there's an agenda, and
accountability.
Accountability, absolutely. As a lawyer, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so the platform and the referral-based network, the relationships really established me as a household name here in Texas.
That's powerful, Deborah. And so, I know I kind of said it in the beginning, but what kind of law do you specialize in?
So all things business related. I can set up new businesses and have complicated partnership disputes. And of course, I've got a lot of investment scam cases.
Yeah.
I've got a crypto case right now going on. What I see myself as a strategic partner in my client's success.
Mm-hmm.
If they're successful, then I'm successful.
Right.
I'm a risk manager. Right. So a perfect example of that would be like this past week, a client calls me. They're, say, like the broker, the middleman between their client and someone who actually performs the work.
Right.
And this incident occurs. Deborah, how do we approach the subject? Do we go after the person who was negligent? Do we file an insurance claim on their insurance policy?
Yeah.
Do we file an insurance claim on our insurance policy? And it's my job to walk them through that process, manage that risk, right? Yeah. Help them understand what that cost is going to be and the opportunity cost. If we do this or that, what is the opportunity cost? And clients, businesses, they want real business solutions that align with their goals, right? And not spend some crazy, outrageous amount on legal fees. And then you look up and you go, what did I even accomplish?
Yeah, my problem didn't even get solved.
My problem didn't get solved.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes that does happen.
Sure.
We get crazy courtroom cases.
Yeah.
And, I tell people, do your homework when you're voting for judges.
Yeah.
They're good ones, they're not so good ones. Good ones are wonderful. Bad ones, no names to call again. But they can make life very difficult for you.
Yeah, I believe that. And Deborah, I think that's so powerful too, that you are invested in providing real tangible solutions for your clients at the right way, right? And I think that's a heavy thing, because people think attorneys and they freak out, like they're like, oh no, they're just going to jack up legal fees, they're not going to help me, and I know you, right? And I've had the pleasure of building a relationship with you the last couple of years, and I can honestly say that one of the biggest things I love about you, there's so many things, not just that we're Tiger fans, right? but it's also, you are so solutions oriented, and I think that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, I mean, clients come to me. Most of my clients are on autopilot, where we set up a meeting about once a year. We talk about their contracts, what's working, what's not working. What problems did you have this year? Do you need me to fix some paragraph in your agreement so that, your subs or vendors or suppliers, whatever, are handling this problem this way? What about your employees? Do we need to tackle that a little differently? Because contracts shouldn't be just, I'm creating a paperwork and
or they shouldn't download it from LegalZoom.
No,
I'm not defaming LegalZoom, but
no, I mean they're living, breathing, real-time documents.
Right.
And we need to have real-time solutions that clients can say, okay, I relied on this paragraph and it helped me not to have this problem again. Or if say one partner says, okay, today I'd like to move to Paris. I don't want to be in this business anymore. There's a mechanism in their operating agreement that allows them to say, Section 8, I'd like to elect to do that today so that I can get out of the company. Here's the methodology for that. And everybody knows what the plan is.
Right.
And I think that's really what distinguishes me from other lawyers. Let's have always a plan in place so that you know exactly how to execute.
Well, and I think you've mentioned this before in conversations we've had. You're really big into contingencies, right? Well, if this happens, here's how we respond. If this happens, here's how we respond. And it's already laid out in the framework. And that's a powerful thing too, because I think a lot of people today, Deborah, maybe you've seen this in your business, are really reactive versus hyper vigilant. Have you noticed that being a trend with business owners?
Right. My best business clients are proactive about
that's the word, proactive.
Solutions, right? And this is what the next year looks like for us. Sometimes we do have to just react to an instant problem. That's outside of the normal business spectrum. A couple of years ago, I got a phone call at 7:00 in the morning. Usually clients are not calling at 7. And an employee had hit and killed a pedestrian the night before in a company vehicle after having one alcoholic beverage. And so what do you do in that situation? And I had boots on the ground, accident reconstruction expert out there. And we put a plan into place so that if we go to trial, we know what that's going to look like. And eventually we were able to resolve that very, very effectively with an excellent result for the client.
That's great.
And, you have to be ready for those situations. And so you might have exigent circumstances. And I know how to deal with those. But for the most part, you need to have well executed plans that are just on autopilot.
And Deborah, so how big then is it? Because you're right, and I hear what you're saying, and me being in the business for myself too. I'm thinking about I have things pop up all the time that I hadn't planned for, but there's so many things that do happen that I did plan for, right? So how big is experience, in your career, played into how you help people plan out with their businesses?
Experience is critical. I've been a lawyer for 22 years. I can say that I can help manage your risk better because of all the battles that I've fought. I've seen almost every crazy scenario known to mankind.
I believe that. I believe that.
I can't even begin to tell you some of the situations that I've seen. And that wealth of experience I can take and say, okay, well, let's not do this and do this instead. Or, just sharing with clients some of these war stories. And so that helps them to create strategies for their business around that. The other thing is I obtained my business coaching certification because I felt it was critical. This was a need that's not in the legal profession. Like you said, experience matters. A lot of lawyers are just creating documents and not really solving problems. The client says, I want an LLC. Okay. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a limited liability company. And so, my question is, why do you want it? Why do you want it? Tell me what your goals are. Help me to understand what that is. And then we can find the right structure of business for you. They said, well, my cousin has an LLC. I can't make this up.
My uncle's dog has an LLC.
They don't even know what an LLC stands for, but they want one. And so we start walking through. And so say, for example, a client has a very, very unique call it a widget, right?
Yeah.
He's built something that's specialized, and he wants to eventually take it to
somewhere,
sell it on the public trading market.
Yeah.
We can't publicly trade an LLC.
Yeah.
So that's not the right business type for this specialized widget that's going to make $10 billion.
Right.
So we set him up with a C corporation from day one with a plan that these are the steps that we're going to get you to selling your widget on the public trading market, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And understanding those goals. And then I'm there every part of the process, holding their hands, walking them through the tunnel, the legal maze, because it's a scary place.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
And so, we have little landmarks, and we're going to walk through them and go through that tunnel.
Yeah, and I think that's so heavy, Deborah, because like you said, you kind of get both sides of it, right? Because you have the business coaching certification and experience, and then the legal experience, and when you marry those two things together, that's a powerhouse. That's why you're Deborah Crain. Like that's why you're the powerhouse. in my opinion, because I know how much knowledge you have, but also how much experience you have, and you marry those two things together, and it makes things very, very, in my opinion, at least, very, very smooth. Or as smooth as it's going to be for your clientele. But if we kind of peel back the layers even further back, what motivated you to want to go into business law versus something else?
Well, as a little girl, I always said, when I grow up, I want to be an actress.
Yeah.
And I became a lawyer, so it's basically the
same thing.
So, I love the practice of law. I really consider it a God calling. God is first in my life.
Yeah, amen.
My husband is second. I've been married almost 26 years.
So amazing.
I think that having a good foundation
yeah.
is critical to being a good lawyer, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, we're known for being a profession that doesn't have a lot of character.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that character really matters in this profession. So I saw just a huge need for people who need someone to be their David, that fighting warrior for them. And so I love that. And I consider it just an honor and a privilege to be able to fight for my clients in an ethical way. Yeah. We're never going to do anything crazy, unethical. I've had clients ask me, I'm like, you've got the wrong girl for
can't do that. Yeah, I can't do that.
We're not going to do that. I'm going to honor judges. I'm going to honor other lawyers. I'm going to honor the legal profession. And mostly, I'm going to honor God in what I do.
Amen.
And that integrity, when it flows into every aspect of your life, including being a lawyer, right? I think it produces better results.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
We don't always get the results we want, right? Like I said. And I get just as frustrated as anybody else. But I tackle every problem, if it doesn't go well for me, with the lens of, how can I make this better? Yeah. What can I do next time?
Right.
What can I do differently?
Yeah, what can I learn from this?
One of my best friends, her name is Melissa Martin. She's also a lawyer. She says that we as lawyers never stop mastering our skill.
Right.
So from the day one, I came into this profession with a hunger and thirst to do right by clients. Yeah. And I think that every day I wake up with the attitude of, how do I make it better?
Wow, that's powerful, Deborah. And we're going to wrap up in a second, but before we do, obviously, you have an amazing husband. He's a stud, by the way. Okay? I got a chance to spend time with him, and he's an awesome guy. Man, I really like him a lot.
Thank you.
How and your mother, right? How have you balanced over the years being having such a successful marriage and being a phenomenal parent and being an attorney and a business? How have you balanced all that stuff over the years?
Well, I think that's always a struggle for sure.
Yeah,
I think you have to learn how to say no.
Yeah,
right? And you can't save the world, and that's also been a hard lesson for me. Is I want to save everybody.
Yeah,
and remembering that you have to practice self-care.
Yeah.
So clients know if they text me between 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening, I'm at yoga.
Yeah,
I can't talk to you right now.
Yeah,
and taking time for yourself, whether it's prayer, yoga, exercise, having healthy outlets for stress.
Yeah.
Lawyers are known for drinking too much and all the things, and it's really not a good way.
It's destructive.
It's destructive. So, make sure you have healthy ways of managing your stress. And making sure that you're saying no when you need to, right?
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Deborah. That's wonderful. And Deborah, I hope that people plugging in, they get to know that you're a powerhouse attorney and that you are the best at what you do, and that when they buy into Deborah Crain, they get so much more than they even know on the surface level, right? Because I've gotten to know you as a very close friend, not just as a business attorney, right? I think that they're going to get so much more than they even know by buying into you, but also they understand that you're also like a human too. We all are, right? And that you've had ups and downs and all arounds in life, and I think that's really given you so much more experience to go behind the business side of things, right? So, Deborah, we're going to wrap up, but if you had one piece of business advice, let's say, for somebody, and no, we're not charging billable hours for this, right? That was a joke. Sorry. No. But if you had like one solid piece of business advice for things to close out, what would you say to everybody right now?
I want to talk about two things.
Do it. Yeah.
One, never ever go into business with somebody unless you've hired a good professional that can walk you through that.
Yeah, that's big.
A bad business partner is like a bad marriage.
Yeah.
And you're taking on their character flaws, their defects, their spending habits, their work ethics.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if they don't align with your core values and the way you work, that is destructive. Mm-hmm. And I've seen what you thought were good people lie, cheat, and steal, and they will do anything. They will stop at nothing.
Yeah.
When the business starts making money.
Yeah.
That's when you find out when someone
real character
really has character.
Yeah.
What I do is I shake and sift those 2 partners or 3 partners or whatever, and I ask them, I throw all the hard questions at them and go, if you could survive this, you can survive being in business with each other. Okay?
Yeah.
That's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, never invest into like some sort of like the cryptocurrency, a business investment. I'm just going to put my $400,000.
Yeah, just see what happens.
But I'm not going to talk to a lawyer and walk through that business investment.
Yeah.
First thing I do is run a background report on the people you're investing with.
Right.
So many times, so many. I have just run a simple background report, and I'm like, they've got theft, they're writing bad checks, they've got judgments against them.
Yeah.
Just indicative of problems in their life.
Yeah.
And why, if they have problems on a background report, and remember, a lot of times these are just the things you see.
Yeah, not so much what they have got caught.
They've stolen from other people. They've, cheated, and they've not been caught. Exactly.
Yeah.
So tremendous heartache. I don't care if your brother or sister recommended them. Doesn't matter. Have someone properly vet them, a business lawyer, a good business lawyer, and properly vet the investment. It will save you years of heartache and thousands of dollars of legal fees.
Deborah, that was so awesome, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to do this with me. This has been long waiting, by the way. I'm so excited that we got to do this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Deborah, so when we close out, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do that?
So email is probably the best way.
Okay.
Crain, DCRAIN @LAWLA.com. I'm a shareholder of a firm called Lugenbuhl. We're based out of Louisiana. We have offices in Houston and other locations, and it's easy to find me. Just Google search me.
Yeah, that's
Crain.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey guys, on Instagram, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for plugging in. Listen, if you're not following me or Deborah, what are you doing? Right? Go find us.
John Brucato.
At John_Brucato. Deborah, do you know your Instagram handle?
It's Deborah L. Crain.
Deborah, okay, there you go. So go follow us. And for those plugging into the podcast, this will be live in like the next 2 days. All right, so don't miss it. All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.